Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. When her mom went missing, she suspected her stepdad.
I think he killed her, or his daughter, Lauren.
He's given her leads.
Telling her about sightings of her mother all over town.
That go nowhere.
It feels like I'm just on a wild goose chase.
Dead end, another dead end.
Ed said that my mom was spotted here.
They have surveillance cameras. If my wife had been missing, I'd be camped out over there till they freeze framed that woman walking in that door.
It just didn't occur to me to do that.
Maybe now.
Why did you want to take her off stage at the break?
I didn't want to take her off.
There will be answers.
How did you know she was missing?
Well,
You used the word missing, and we're going to be blamed. I just wondered if you would answer my question. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Thank you. Yesterday, we started digging into a missing persons case involving a mother named Carie Zaplatel, who vanished 9 months ago on a cold December night from the home she shared with her husband of 7 years, Ed. Now, Carrie's daughter, Shelby, is convinced that her stepfather, Ed, or Ed's daughter, Lauren, are responsible for killing her mother or hiding what they know. Shelby says she's past her breaking point and wants answers about how her mother vanished without a coat, car keys, phone, or identification nearly 9 months ago. Here's what happened yesterday.
I truly believe that my mother's husband, Ed, has something to do with my mother's disappearance.
A daughter is desperate to find her mother, who's been missing for 9 days.
Zaplatel's husband told police his wife, Carie, walked out of the house on a very cold day in December. That was the last time her family saw her.
When Carie disappeared, I just had a stroke and I was physically incapable of getting out of bed. Shelby needs to realize that Carrie's got a lot of issues. In addition to abusing alcohol, she's been known to abuse prescription drugs and some other things also.
It's trying to paint a picture that my mom is a crackhead or a prostitute. That idea is absolutely absurd.
Your fear is that this wasn't some accident. You think she's been murdered.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think killed her?
I think Ed has involvement.
You're saying you couldn't have harmed her if you wanted to.
No, absolutely not. I was a vegetable.
I think he killed her, or his daughter, Lauren.
He did something, hit her, choked her, shot her, stabbed her, something.
He could not sit up. He could not stand up. He could not feed himself.
He wasn't as debilitated as he made himself out to be.
Were her things missing too?
My mom left her vehicle, identification. She didn't even take a coat.
The night that Carie went missing, she wasn't in the right state of mind and was walking around the house completely nude. It was really strange behavior because nobody had seen her acting this way.
What happened between the two of you that night?
She was just telling me how depressed she was. We actually entered into a suicide pact. She was going to kill herself, and I would kill myself also.
And you've never mentioned that to anybody before now?
No, I guess not.
She left behind a debit card with money on it, but the money has not been accessed. Trust me, I've been doing this for 40 years. The first thing they do is run through cash. Do you think it odd that she's totally off the grid?
I'm totally convinced that she's still alive. I think she does not want to be found.
Listen, I talked to FBI profilers in the last 12 hours about, is it just me or is this really odd? And yes. You know what they said? They said adults have the right to go missing if they want to. Mm-hmm. They do. They have the right to go missing if they want to. But in this day and age, for an adult to go totally off the electronic grid and not be seen or heard from in 9 months is very, very odd. Mm-hmm. And for you guys to say, nope, doesn't strike me odd at all. But yet, when we were interviewing you, The last thing that you said in your tape piece was,
when I told my dad that Carie wasn't in the house or anywhere to be found, he looked really surprised and really shocked. We were totally dumbfounded. He cried. I was sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, you know, she's missing and somebody's gonna be blaming us. It seems that way, and I still feel that way because my dad is getting blamed for this.
why would that be your first thought the split second you know she's gone?
Because
but yet now, you don't even think it's odd that she hadn't been seen or heard from in 9 months?
I know this is not normally her behavior. You know, it would not normally be anything she would do. But for her to, and me to witness, you know, hearing her, the door shut, and her, it seemed to be her walking out of the house because everybody else was in the house. Everybody else was accounted for. I was in my room, and me hearing, you know, footsteps going down the hallway. And
That's
I
a new
thought,
one.
well, you know, I thought it was Brad, but I realized Brad was in his room later on. Mm-hmm. But when my dad asked me to go get the charger and her not be there, I had to put two and two together and realize that she had walked out of the house. Plus, I saw the door was open.
Okay, hold on.
Well, Dr. Phil, I'm so sorry.
Now answer my question. Why, at that moment, did you realize she's gone? Was your first thought, we are going to be blamed?
I felt like, you know, if anybody had thought, oh, well, she's missing, so, you know, we'll probably be blamed for it because, you know, I mean, I would have felt probably nobody would have believed me that she just walked away.
How did you know she hadn't just gone out to the car to get cigarettes?
I actually did look outside.
How did you know she hadn't just gone to the store? How did you know she hadn't gone outside to just stand there? How did you know she was missing?
Well, I mean,
she had been, in your mind, she had been gone 20 seconds. And you used the word missing, and we're going to be blamed.
Didn't you say that Ashlyn saw her leaving?
she said she had claimed to see her leaving. She said she heard her leave.
She saw her walking out. She was looking out the window and saw her leaving, so, according to
and how old is
Ashlyn
Ashlyn?
said. Pardon?
Ashlyn is Lauren's daughter.
Yeah.
Ashlyn is 7. And
so that's why
she went missing from the house. I told my dad immediately, and then I went outside to look for her.
I just wondered if you would answer my question.
What was the question?
The question is why your mind went the minute you see her gone, that A, she's missing, and B, we're going to be blamed.
Well, she was missing from the house. I didn't know where she went. At first I thought that maybe she had gone, sat in the truck or, something. I checked the truck. There was nobody in the truck. So I thought that maybe she had gone on foot. I got down as far as I could go toward the neighborhood, as far as I could go for, maybe about 5-10 minutes or so. And then when I couldn't find her, I figured, okay, well, she's missing from the house. She's not in the house. I don't know where she is and when she'll be back, and I don't know what happened to her or where she went.
Okay. Next, Ed says he expects his wife to walk through the door sometime soon. Boy, I hope that's right. Shelby says he's just not living in the real world. We're going to find out what he's been telling Shelby that has her completely frustrated when we come back.
Ed sent me to addresses that didn't even exist, like this gas station. Ed said that my mom was spotted here buying beer. They had never seen my mom before. It feels like I'm just on a wild goose chase.
And later, why did you want to take her off stage at the break?
It's that I didn't want to take her off, but...
no, that's what you said. Can we take her off stage and put her up there?
There was no intention to take Lauren off stage.
Oh, well, I was confused because you said, can we take Lauren off stage?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My mom kicked me out when I was 15 years old. I did not throw her out.
Ungrateful daughter?
I was at her knees begging, I'm sorry. My daughter was recoiling in the chair.
Or is mom delusional?
Did you threaten that therapist?
No, sir.
You throw a check on the floor and say, have a nice life. This therapist's job is to bring mother and daughter together.
Yes, sir. And as I said...
And she says, I quit.
That's tomorrow.
Shelby says ever since they were contacted by the Dr. Phil show, Ed has suddenly become interested in the search for her mother. She says he's been telling her about sightings of her mother all over town. Sadly, when Shelby goes to investigate, the lead turns into a dead end.
This is my mom's residence from where she went missing. My mom left without her car, her vehicle, which is still sitting in the driveway. No phone, identification, nothing was taken other than the clothes on her back. In the middle of December, I've searched in the back. There's nothing but woods. All this brush goes miles out, miles out. And I searched out there without luck.
Ed sent me to addresses that didn't even exist. Like this gas station, for instance, that there was park benches next to it or across the street that my mom was sleeping on. And as you can see, there's no park benches. Not on either side of the gas station, not across the street from the gas station. It feels like I'm just on a wild goose chase. I've checked every hospital, I've checked every homeless shelter, I've checked every food bank. I've been in some pretty poor neighborhoods, drug areas. The reason why we're down there searching is because Ed is saying that she's been on drugs, and I don't believe it. Ed said that my mom was spotted here buying beer. I came to the location, came in, asked store managers. They had never seen my mom before. Talked to other clerks. They said that they hadn't seen my mom. You have so much hope, and I'm not going to lose hope. I want to know what happened to my mom. But at the same time, you can't help but doubt it.
Okay, to illustrate the lengths that Shelby says that she has gone to chase leads that Ed gave her, we constructed this map of Memphis. Now, first sighting is at a convenience store at Pauline and Poplar, but no store was found, so dead end. Then Shelby goes to Morris Park on Poplar and Manassas, another dead end. Correct?
Yes, sir, dead end.
Then Carie is sighted on Jefferson. She searches entire street.
I never said anything about Jefferson.
Another dead end. Next, she's spotted at a convenience store around Memphis VA Medical Center. So you go there, right?
Right. Dead.
Another dead end, correct?
Correct.
Nothing there. Then Shelby heads to Morris Park on Poplar. Dead end. Nothing there. Then Carie is spotted at Union and Exchange. So she heads over there.
No Union and Exchange.
And
never.
Dead end. Nothing there. Finally, she's seen at a drugstore on Union and McLean. Talks to the cashier. And you say, this is a dead end.
Correct.
You feel like you're getting run around.
Yes, sir.
And not finding anything anywhere in all of these places. Now, how did you get these tips?
First of all, half of those never happened, I told her about Poplar and Manassas, and I told her about the Union and McLean.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Union McLean, close to there's a drugstore that I went in and talked to the clerk who had sold Carie the beer. And of course, for any alcohol transaction, you have to show ID. So she saw Carrie's ID, and
did you report that, Ed?
Yes, I did. I called missing persons immediately, and they told me that they were going to go there and put up flyers and talk to people.
Well, and what business were you in, by the way? What's your business?
I was in video surveillance.
And this cashier at the drugstore, which was, you talk about a great lead, right? Great news. And listen, I'm not prejudging it. I want to find this woman. Okay, everybody needs to understand, I just want to find this woman. And here's what she had to say. I do remember seeing the woman in the ID missing persons flyer. Okay, so we're talking about somebody that's just been identified from a flyer. But then she says, I can't recall what day she came in. I see hundreds of people every day, so it's impossible to know exactly what day it was. I can't recall if I checked her ID because I can't even remember for sure what I sold her. So you know, you say she came in, she knows it was her because she checked her ID, but then when we talk to her, she says, well, I remember from a flyer, but I don't know the day. I saw hundreds of people. I don't even remember the day. I don't know if I checked her ID because I don't remember what I sold her. Other than that, I got it nailed. If she walked in that store, then it's on camera. I'd be camped out over there till they freeze framed that woman walking in or out of that door. And later, did you choke her?
I wanted to, but, you know, I didn't have the, I wanted to defend myself, but I didn't have the strength.
On the new season of Dr. Phil.
My dad sending money to a woman in Mexico that he had an affair with.
She had to have a lung transplant.
You paid for a lung. So she just showed up to a clinic with a lung in an igloo cooler, said, I'm here to get a transplant.
That's basically what happened.
Do you think maybe she's lied to you?
I just want to know the truth. Is my brother-in-law a monster?
An uncle too affectionate with his 16-year-old niece?
You're sending her a letter that says,
I love you with all my heart.
You put whipped cream on your neck, and Grace says you ask her to lick it off.
I don't remember doing that.
The creep meter is pegging over here.
Plus,
you were the facialist to the stars.
Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox.
Accused of hiring a hitman to kill her rival.
Did you solicit someone to kill this man?
It was one of those, oh, I could kill this person. I should find someone to take him out.
You typed out a text message. I have found someone that can do this deed for me.
This fall on Dr. Phil.
Then she says she looked like a normal person. None of the other sightings have said this, but she looked like a normal person. She was not disheveled or on drugs, just a regular, perfectly normal woman. I can confirm I've spoken with Ed and Shelby regarding my sighting of Carie last week. They call me every day looking for new information, but I don't have any. So if she's gone into the drug culture, living on the streets, drinking, drugging, whatever, but she shows up looking like June Cleaver, that doesn't comport.
But there's a contradiction here. First of all, you're trying to show that she wasn't sighted, and then you're trying to show that she was. Now you're saying she was sighted.
No, I'm not trying to do anything.
Right.
What I'm doing, I'm not trying to do anything. What I'm doing is showing what the woman said.
Okay.
I'm not trying to build a case for anything.
Okay.
What I do want to know is, I'm not saying the name of the drugstore, but this is a national chain, and they have surveillance. They have video cameras. So there's film. If she walked in that store, then it's on camera. High def.
Let's get it.
Camera that can be looked at. If my wife had been missing for 9 months and somebody told me what I thought was a reliable report of her walking in there, I'd be camped out over there till they freeze framed that woman walking in or out of that door. Just be over. Just be over. That's her.
Needs to do that. Ed needs to push it, and missing persons needs to do that. He immediately reported it to missing persons, hoping that he would get the help that he needs.
These are human beings that run this. I know the chain. I know the chain. These are not corporate ghosts. These people are real people. You go in and say, my wife's missing. Pull that tape up. Let me see it. I guarantee you, show you that tape in 10 minutes. I guarantee they'll show me that tape in 10 minutes.
It just didn't occur to me.
It didn't occur to you to say this woman says she saw my wife. She's been missing for 9 months while I was bedridden in paralysis, and she's missing and I can't find her. Please show me that tape and see if it's her.
It did not occur to me, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Didn't occur to anybody?
I did. I asked.
Did you see it?
I went to see, and she said, I see hundreds of people a day. I couldn't even tell you what day and she wouldn't do it.
She wouldn't let you see the surveillance?
She wouldn't even ask to.
Who, the clerk? Yeah, that's not the person to ask.
Yeah, I should have asked the manager, but.
Why did you want to take her off stage at the break?
It's that I didn't want to take her off, but
no, that's what you said. Can we take her off stage and put her up there?
I just wanted. I didn't. It's not that I wanted to take her off stage, but I wanted to get my sister up. There was no intention to take Lauren off stage when I said that. I just thought.
Oh well, I was confused because you said, "Can we take Lauren off stage?"
Well, Dr. Phil, I am in a professional business, and I know that Ed was counting on me for to speak very clearly to you, and was hoping that I was going to be by his side.
And thank you for that. Sure, and thank you for that. You've been very clear. We all want to find her, right? What y'all are describing to me is a woman that was seemingly mentally and emotionally overwhelmed.
She was overwhelmed.
By a situation.
Why didn't anyone contact anyone?
Why anybody what?
Why did y'all never contact the family, like me or my brothers? If y'all think that she was that bad off, you should have contacted a hospital, somebody in the medical field, family, friends. You should.
Well,
have
your
reached
brother
out.
Bradley lived in the house and
Bradley?
saw her every day.
Bradley has issues as well. We all know that.
And you had another brother there on Thanksgiving.
And he would be another witness as of my condition because...
Yeah, they said that you were sitting at the table.
He was not.
What?
He said you were sitting at the table on Thanksgiving?
I told you the procedure that it took for me to get out of bed. I've never sat at the kitchen table.
Next, could Ed have physically harmed his wife, Carie, if in fact he was in whatever level of incapacity he was in? We're going to find out why Shelby and some of Ed's critics say he was faking being sick and chose to go on vacations instead of searching for his missing wife when we come back. I think the thing that bothers her is his behavior after she went missing as well as before. We'll be right back. You've been violent with your wife on a frequent basis?
No, I would defend myself. She would get drunk and very violent.
I've witnessed you hit my mom before.
You witnessed it?
I have. I've witnessed you put...
You've never been around.
Really?
And later, do you really believe she's alive?
Absolutely.
Because you know, when I ask you that, you say yes, but you shake your head no. In the 8.5 months that Carie Zapletel has been missing, her husband Ed says he's been the target of accusations and finger-pointing from Carrie's family and friends. One of his largest critics is Courtney, who says Carie called her 90% of the time after she had major blowouts with Ed.
Carie and I were really close. She was like my second mom. Carie called me her ventilator because she could always vent to me about whatever was going on in her life. And she called me and vented quite often. She and I were constantly fighting about his daughter, Lauren. Carie was always having to bathe Lauren's kids, feed them, do their laundry, cook for them, make their plates, basically everything a mother's supposed to do. Carie was very tired and very fed up with the entire situation. What was even worse in the matter is that Ed never took Carrie's side. He always stood up for Lauren. The night after Carie disappeared, Ed called me and asked if I had seen Carie, but I hadn't. What was unusual about this is that Carie hadn't called me first, and she had always called me. Ever since Carrie's been missing, Ed hasn't shown any real concern because he hadn't posted on his Facebook, hadn't been in contact with any of the news stations, hadn't been looking for her as thoroughly as he says he has. Not too long ago, my husband and Ed were texting each other about the night Carie went missing, and Ed had mentioned that he was so mad at her he could have choked her but didn't have the strength. What was shocking about this is that Ed had told the police in the reports that they weren't fighting the night before she went missing. At this point, I do not trust Ed at all. I think he knows more than what he's telling everybody.
Courtney, thank you for joining us. There's a couple things I want to point out. And then, by the way, the text you're talking about from Ed to your husband was a few months after she was missing.
Yes.
And it reads, for whatever it's worth, the most likely place she would have gone is with a guy named Blank, who she worked with. He lives with his brother. I've been wanting to go over there since she disappeared. He's an alcoholic. She pissed me off so bad I wanted to choke her, but I didn't have the strength. You guys saved that because you thought it was worth saving.
My husband saved everything.
Yeah.
She pissed me off by hitting me. That's when I got pissed.
But you said y'all weren't arguing.
No, that night, that was the night that Ed called me, and that was Thanksgiving evening.
Yeah, you have to understand that mentally, I'm just, I can't remember a lot of details.
Did you choke her?
No. I wanted to, but you know, I didn't have the. I mean, I wanted to defend myself, but I didn't have the strength.
So Ed called me
Defend yourself from what?
Carie hitting me in the head.
When you say you wanted to choke her, do you mean you wanted to kill her?
No. I just wanted to stop her from hurting me.
You wanted to choke her to make her unconscious? You wanted to choke her?
No.
What?
I was just trying to get her attention.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. You just wanted to choke her to stop her from attacking you.
Exactly. It was self-defense.
She's attacked you before you were paralyzed.
Yes.
Did you choke her then?
No.
You've never
I never hurt her.
You've never hit her?
No.
I've witnessed you hit my mom before.
You witnessed it?
I have. I've witnessed you put...
You've never been around.
Really?
You've never been around. The last, like, I don't know how long. You know, I do know Carie said that
there was a time
you were
whenever
never
I
on
was
good terms with
15
her.
and I did stay with
I
mom.
tried to get her to visit you at times, and she didn't want to.
Okay.
If I may interject, Carie has said, I think she had said on numerous times that I was actually closer to her than you were.
Honey, there's a whole journal about you.
Promise.
So I doubt that.
I don't give a about some journal. And number two, I'm trying to find this woman.
Yes, sir.
There was one instance where I grabbed her so she'd stop hitting me, and she hurt her collarbone. I never once provoked it.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Is mom delusional?
People say you stole an ambulance.
That is the legend in the fire department.
No, sir. I took my ambulance down to the beach.
So you just borrowed the ambulance.
That's tomorrow.
I thought we were here trying to find this woman, but if you want to talk about who said what to who and...
I'm just so upset because of the lies and the accusations on their behalf as well.
There are no lies.
Are we here about lying behavior, or are we here trying to find your mother?
You're right. Well, I'm trying to find my mom. Yes, sir. I do apologize.
Well, it's just however you want to spend your time.
I have never lied to you, Shelby. And I certainly wouldn't lie to you about anything with your mother. I've tried to be as forthcoming as I can. Every lead I've gotten, I've passed on to you. And, you know, it's not nearly as confusing as you think it is as far as where she'd been cited and all that. The way I describe it, it sounds like different places, but they're all connected. And so it's not like I ever tried to misconceive you about where she'd been seen. I have no quarrel with you. I mean, other than this little misunderstanding, and I know it's just a misunderstanding.
To me, it feels like it's a big misunderstanding.
Have you been violent with your wife on a frequent basis?
No, I would defend myself. She would get drunk and very violent, and I would just have to defend myself. But I've never just.
And how often has that occurred?
Basically, whenever she get drunk, which would be about every 6 weeks to 3 months. You know, she didn't drink all that often, but when she did, she'd get totally trashed.
So several times a year, you would wind up being attacked.
Yes.
Okay, and then at time it would become physical.
Yes.
Because, you know, I think people could understand if she attacked you and in defending yourself something happened accidentally, you know, people could understand that. And I'm just trying to ascertain if something like that has happened here. You need to tell me and let me help you with that.
There is one instance where I grabbed her so she'd stop hitting me, and she hurt her collarbone.
When was that, Ed?
Oh, it's been several years. Years ago. And
well, thank you for telling me that, so I know.
Okay.
But this has happened on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I never once provoked it. Everything I did was defensive.
Right.
And
did you have to defend yourself right before she went missing?
Well, I was struck, And but I was incapable of actually blocking anything.
But she did strike you right before she left?
Yes, she struck me in the head.
Yes, and that was when Ed called me afterwards, and he did, I asked him if we should call 911, and he said no, that Shelby's brothers were there and that they had calmed her down, and he was okay.
Do you really believe she's alive?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, when I ask you that, you say yes, but you shake your head no.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Studio audience.
If you're going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click Be in the Audience, or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445. She did strike you right before she left?
Yes.
Would that be on the 1st or the 2nd? She left on the 2nd.
I don't remember what day it was. It may have been before that.
Yeah.
When you called me, it was Thanksgiving evening.
Okay, so it was before that. My whole memory of that period is really cloudy, just because, you know, I was still recovering from the stroke.
Well, since it's cloudy, is it possible that she actually attacked you the night that she left?
No, that did not happen.
Well, you said your memory was cloudy.
Well, it wasn't that cloudy. I can't remember what particular days, you know. It all kind of streams together for me because, you know, my mind is different than it used to be.
So there was no altercation the night that she left?
No, absolutely not.
You're clear on that?
Absolutely.
You're not clear on the other things, but you're clear on that, because that one sticks out because that's the night she left.
We were totally separated mostly separated that whole day because she was staying on the couch. And no, I hardly spoke to her on that day.
Do you believe she's alive?
Yes, I do, 100%. All my heart believes that she's just been seen too many times. There's been no body found. I had actually asked missing persons to reclassify as a homicide.
So
because
you believe she's alive?
Yes.
But
you think she's out there somewhere?
Yes, I know she is.
And do you feel like you are making every effort to find her? Do you want to find her, or you think if she wants to be gone, let her be gone?
I absolutely want to find her. What happens after that, I'm not too sure. I mean, that's really up to her. But I want to know that she's okay.
Yeah. And it's
the most important thing in my life.
Yeah. Shelby objects to the fact that you've gone on a 3-week vacation and done other things when you could have been hiring a private investigator to find her.
I've had no money for a private investigator, and it's been very therapeutic for me to spend time with my family.
Dr. Phil, I asked my brother to support me in a nonprofit event that I was engaged in Florida, where I live. And I flew him down there for 10 days so he could also be with my other brother. The three of us spent some time together, maybe about 10 days. Ed definitely needed to get out of the house. He still lives in the house that he and Carie were together in, and he is very depressed. That was in May, and then we had a family reunion. There are 5 children. We all got 5 siblings. We all got together in Ohio, and I, again, paid for that trip, where then he stayed with my sister, so there was really no cost to Ed.
Do you think the most therapeutic thing would be to find his wife?
That would be amazing.
That'd be pretty therapeutic, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really believe she's alive?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, when I ask you that, you say yes, but you shake your head no.
Well, that's not...
Your mouth says yes, and your body says no.
Yes, I believe she's alive. I'm shaking my head yes.
After I told you it is. We'll be right back. Want to get something off your chest? Sign up for the drphil.com community and weigh in on your favorite episodes and share your personal stories with other community members. Plus, get started on your own blog to share your thoughts on the topics that interest you most. I'll be reading those message boards. Log on to drphil.com today. Well, you've been seeing phone numbers and you've been seeing pictures of this missing woman throughout today's show on the bottom third of the screen, and we've shown the picture many, many times. And listen, if you have any information about this woman in any way, then you need to pick up the phone and you need to call the phone numbers that we've provided you. Call the sheriff's office in your area and give that information. We want to find this woman, and it's you know, we clearly want to know the answer, and you want to know the answer, good or bad, right?
Right, yes, sir.
Whether she's alive or
Yes, sir.
whether she's not. And you know, Carie, if you're out there and you're watching this, pick up the phone and call me. And you're going to give me a piece of information that only she would know, so we can screen that call and know that it's her. So please, if you have that information, then give it to us. And if you believe that this sighting at this drugstore, which is a national chain that I guarantee you has high-definition cameras, we need to get that. We need to get it before dark today. We need to get that information and find it. They can get this down to a short period of time and when this clerk was on, and we can find out you know, whether that was her or whether it's not. So this can be cleared up very, very quickly. So we will do that. You want to find her.
There's nothing I want more in the world.
Shaking your head no again. Hope that's. I just hope you want to find her. I really do. Even if you don't want to be married to her, don't be married to her. But we want to find her, right?
Ed wants to find her.
Yeah.
I've looked for her at least 100 times.
Yeah.
Since she went missing. I was working downtown for a while, and every day on my way there and on my way back, I would check in these parks.
We've put a lot of attention on this, so hopefully this will give us some information. If you are trying to find a missing loved one and frustrated by the search, you know, right in the show, we want to help. You can go to Facebook, Twitter, you can text me your story, let me know what challenges you're facing. You know, that's one of the things we can do here, and see what I can do to help. I want to thank all of my guests for being here. We really appreciate it. We will see you next time. Thank you. Well, best of luck to you. Thank you so much. Always thank you so much.
It's been 3 weeks since we taped the show, and unfortunately my mother's still missing. We haven't received any credible updates. However, Ed did advise that there was another sighting at the same store, that she was seen outside of the store begging for change. I do believe it's another dead end.
I'm standing at the drugstore, which has become ground zero for Carie sightings. She's been positively identified from surveillance video, which has been seen by the managers and missing persons. I'm confident that I will be reunited with my loving wife soon.